My name is Joe Haven. I'm a photographer, filmmaker and artist based between Brighton and Glasgow. I graduated from the Glasgow School of Art in 2020 during the pandemic. For the last 4 or 5 years I've been making work around our relationship with the environment, and my debut project called Imoleka documented the Aqua Alta that takes place in Venice every year. The project focuses more in on how human activity and climate change has exacerbated this tidal phenomenon, and I've been working with local activist groups in Venice on bringing more light to the situations that are taking place there. I'm now engaged in a lot more community activation projects in Glasgow and taking more of a think global, act local approach, and I'm looking to get engaged in more events during COP26. I think to tackle climate change we need to address the refugee crisis. I think that all socio-political issues are all affected by climate change, and the most pressing matter at the moment is the refugee crisis. The people that will be getting disproportionately negatively affected by climate change will be all people that are located on the southern hemisphere. And you can't address the climate crisis without addressing the refugee crisis. I think the government needs to give more funding towards local integration networks which help displaced people settle into communities. I think we need to give those people a voice and hear their approaches to tackling climate change and what those continents need in terms of support. I think we need to listen to local indigenous communities' approaches and hear their voices and what they need. I think the government needs to change its hostile approach to handling the migrant crisis, and needs to listen to people's voices on what they want and what approaches they want to implement in tackling the climate crisis. I think in an ideal world there would be a cohesive living between humans and the natural world. I think the wealth would be shared and the minority, the 1%, wouldn't be exploiting people and the earth for capital gain. I think there needs to be a lot more transparency in the world. I think people need to be held accountable for their actions, and I think laws need to be implemented for the effects that people are causing to the planet now. I think there should be taxes brought in for the rich. I think there should be a tax brought in for greenhouse gas emissions, and I believe that more voices should be heard in tackling the climate crisis. I think there's always a bit of a disconnect between governing bodies and inhabitants, where governing bodies will assume what the people want rather than asking them, and I think there needs to be more of an open discussion about what the people want and how we can get there, and the approaches that we can use to tackle those issues. I don't have any expectations for COP26 from the official events themselves. I think there's going to be a lot of virtue signalling and a lot of greenwashing going on from our government and large corporate companies that will be exploiting and capitalising it. However, I'm excited to engage with the local community action groups and the people that will be coming out to Glasgow and learning and discussing, engaging with events and talks that are happening in the city. I think it's going to be a really exciting couple of weeks being up here for that. However, I think this is a really important time where we're going to have leaders from across the world in the same city, and we can let our voices be heard and make them know that we're not happy with how they're dealing with the climate crisis. I think we need to make a lot of buzz around the fact that we're aware the UK government are planning on building a new oil field off the coast of Scotland, and if people want to learn more about that, engage with that, then they can look up Stop Cambo.